Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 428. I'm one of your hosts, Chris. I'm my co-host here, Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Good. Now that we've resolved our technical difficulties with StreamYard, or not StreamYard, had to use StreamYard. Riverside sucks for some reason. It's all this background stuff people don't understand, but Chris does all the hard work here. So
I think everybody's moving over Riverside, so it's like crashing. I don't know what's going on.
There's too many people. Because
other people that do this I know have all been telling me recently, like, man, Riverside's so great. And I'm like, yeah. I know. I've been doing it for a little while because fuck StreamYard. Here we are in StreamYard, but fuck them.
I know. Fuck them. Episode 428, we got the Hive Mind back. So we're going to be talking to Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly in a little bit. Love those guys. All the stuff they're doing. What book are they not doing? They do have a new Star Trek book coming out towards the end of the summer, The Last Starship. So can't wait to talk to them. I read the first issue of their Star Trek run. Loved it. Because I've heard good things about it, and you've talked about it as well. And there's so many other comics to read that I was like, okay, I'll read issue 1 this week. And then I read issue 1. I was like, damn, this is good. Now I want to read like the other 30 issues.
Yeah, I need to get further into it, but there's so many books.
And I'm not even like the biggest Star Trek fan. I love Next Generation, so really excited to read more of that.
Yeah.
All right. So, did you buy your Superman tickets, Chris?
No. Okay. I'm going with the missus, and we haven't decided what our plans are yet. Other than I need to go to Regal because I need me a crypto.
Dude, that crypto bucket, I think I'm going to buy one too. I have to. How do you not buy that? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They've been killing it with those buckets lately.
I know it's a complete waste of money. Like there's some behind me in the background, but they don't get used ever again.
No, so. they just sit on a shelf somewhere, but it's awesome. I'm going Tuesday, the July 8th showing, so I'm super pumped. Got my Amazon Prime. Man, there's nothing like merchandising and like consuming, like using your Amazon Prime account to sign up for a Regal ticket. It's like, man. So come on.
I did the click through that you sent me.
Yeah.
And so I went through the whole thing. I'm like, holy, this is so.
It's awful.
It sends you to Fandango, and then
you go through like 4 fucking websites or something. I don't remember. Yeah, it's awful. It's consumerism at its finest. I got to go through 4 layers of accounts and of like movie accounts, Amazon accounts to get a ticket a day early for Superman.
It's insane. And
there was already 2 people had bought seats already. I was like, fuck. I got to get them quick. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I've been seeing all the hullabaloo about it on the press tour stuff, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Excited for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the new Fantastic Four trailer was awesome. I don't know if you saw that this week. I think the final trailer or something.
I didn't. Just because I'm like, I don't want to see any more.
I would say don't watch it.
I did see the hullabaloo about the Thing's beard. And here's my opinion on it. Who fucking cares, everybody? It looks cool. Get over it.
Shut up. Who cares?
We're talking. Yeah. So I saw online, how does the Thing grow a beard? And if anyone hasn't seen it, it's a rock beard. It's not like a hair beard.
Makes sense. Comic book science, right?
Oh, well, and how's he shaving? I'm like, guys, we're talking about a person that went into space, got hit with cosmic rays, and turned into a giant rock monster. What are we doing here?
That was like remember when Superman came out and Henry Cavill was like shaving in the mirror. How could Superman shave? Wouldn't it break the razor? It's like, shut up. Come on.
Just stop.
Just enjoy your movie. You have a dude as freakishly large as Henry Cavill that can play a real life Superman. Just shut up.
Listen, I'm all for some of these conversations, like how is there fire in space? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The facial hair thing, like we've gone a bridge too far. We all need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. Holy crap. That one really triggered me this week, man.
Yeah. like really, that's where we're bad. We're getting a Fantastic Four movie that looks so true to Fantastic Four in all the sense of the comics. Finally. And I will say the last trailer, like without, I mean, it shows a lot, okay, but the main joke of it is like they keep trying to get Ben Grimm to say it's clobbering time. They're like, Ben, say the thing, and he's like, that was in the cartoon. I never actually said that. And like the whole movie, they're like, say the thing, say the lie. It's actually really funny. So like the Fantastic Four being a meme from like the cartoon and the comics, like being within the world, is actually kind of funny, I think.
Yeah, that's why I think next week the comic comes out that's in the universe,
which is awesome. That's
really
cool.
I'm looking forward to picking that up.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let's jump into the news. Chris has been watching Ironheart, so there's a couple people watching it out there.
I'm watching it, so you don't have to.
Thank God. Oh, so what do you think out of 3 episodes?
It's terrible.
Oh man, really? I did not see that coming, Chris.
So they're trying to tell a story about an inner city black girl who doesn't have money. So at the end of the day, it's a like, I could be Tony Stark if I had money.
Right.
Okay. There's some, I mean, I'm not saying this isn't like, there's no truth to some of these conversations. Just, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Just put her in the damn suit and have her do some fun things.
Right. She was already in the suit, wasn't she? At one point?
Yeah. And that's the thing. First episode, first 10 minutes, she's kicked out of MIT for being a little piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then loses her scholarship, has to go back home. That's why she's home.
Mm-hmm.
And the suit's in tatters. And she joins a group of criminals. So like we're doing real well for our, main black character.
Yeah. Right. They did a great job.
The supporting cast is awful.
Oh, really?
Like all the fellow criminals are just so over the top, like millennial Gen Z stereotypes that have the worst mannerisms and conversations that make you want to rip your hair out. The entire plot is that she joins this group and they're going to take it to the billionaires because we haven't seen that a million times in the past 10 years.
Yep.
And I just talked about not overthinking things, but this is really hard not to think through. Their whole scheme is to basically shut down these tech billionaires that are all versions of Elon Musk, by the way. The first one's literally a company that's making tunnels underground to help with traffic.
Oh my God.
That's an Elon Musk project.
Yeah. Yeah. Hyperloop. I worked on that one. It never went anywhere. And
they shut it down and then force the person to sign a contract under duress to basically hand over a bunch of their money. If anyone doesn't know basic legal theory, if you sign a contract under duress, it's automatically moot. So their entire plan is bullshit.
Right.
The only redeeming qualities of the show is that they're using the Hood as the villain, which is a Brian K. Vaughan co-created villain, by the way, Mike.
Cool. Awesome.
And it seems there's a demonic entity, which is part of the Hood's whole backstory in the comics, that's controlling this. So I think at some point they might say that the contract is a deal with the devil.
Okay, that's cool.
That might be the only like saving grace to this whole contract thing. But they need to they should have shown it by the end of episode 3. Because at this point I'm sitting here going like your entire plan is bullshit.
Right.
And they're hinting real hard that it's Mephisto. Although I think this is going to be another like, you all want a Mephisto, but it's this demon instead.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I'm going to finish it just because I want to know if they're going to do Mephisto or not at the end of the day. Like for me, that's what it is. But it's really bad.
It's
really bad.
I was going to say, well, is there any redeeming qualities? It doesn't sound like much, but the Mephisto thing would probably help. But
the villain's cool. I think the plot's terrible and the characters are awful. It's one of those where they tried to create this, and obviously, Mike, you and hopefully the audience know, like, I'm not an anti-woke person.
Right.
But they tried to create this super diverse cast, and in doing so, just created stereotypes.
Yeah, like they're just like, like you said, they're millennial stereotypes that are just annoying as hell. Yeah.
It's basically the people writing this wanted to do something and they can't write good characters. So instead they created these stereotype characters and they're just awful.
Yeah, that's how you rush a project.
Yeah.
You don't flesh out a character and you just say, oh, well we're going to make them this way. Okay.
Yeah. This is going to be like, if you're listening to the show and you don't want to watch it, don't. It's awful.
Yeah.
Just keep listening and I'll tell you the important bits.
keep up with Chris on it. He's gonna be talking.
I'll torture myself for all of you.
Sorry, dude. I did see this news for movie news. Matt Reeves and Mattson Thompson announced that they have finished the script for the Batman Part 2. So I think the movie's slated for 2027 now.
Something like that,
yeah. I hope. Okay, so it's 2 years away. When did the first one come out? 2023, 2022. I think it's 2022.
I think 2022 is right because there's a gap between that and Penguin, which was this year, last year.
Yes. So let's see, the Batman, and this was 2022. Yeah. Okay, so what is it? 5 years later? I guess that's not unreasonable. It's not entirely unreasonable for a sequel. Honestly, if this is what it takes, Chris, to get a good script, like, because at the end of the day, Matt Reeves isn't doing a Batman movie. He's doing a good, like, noir crime movie. And if this is what it takes, I'm okay with that. If it comes out really good.
It would be a big help if DC Films had their own Batman movie coming out too, and we didn't have a 7-year gap between. Because I disagree with you. I think it is a bit egregious for it to be this long.
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 years is like we should be getting it this year is what I think. I think 5 years is a good gap for a sequel like this. But if it's great at the end of the day, when that day comes, I won't care anymore how long the gap was.
So I'm looking at right now, the Batman Begins, and then Dark Knight. So that was 3 years, and then Dark Knight Rises was 4 years. So I think 3 years is probably the sweet spot. 4 years, I know they had that issue, with Heath Ledger and had to change the script and all that stuff. So
yeah. So I say 3 to 5 years seems like a good gap to have first.
And I think we were supposed to get earlier, right? But then there was all that bullshit going on with, I don't know. There's so much stuff happening in between strikes and timing and Reeves wanted to work on something else. I don't know, but I think it's more Reeves wanted to work on something else because even the strike and everything, like just because no offense to writers or any artists out there, but just because there's a strike going on doesn't mean you can't like work on your thing because you know it's going to get solved. Right. That's what I would be doing. Mm-hmm. If I was on strike, I would, and I was a writer, I would still be writing just so when it ended, I could be like, here's all the work I did. Right. Yeah. Maybe I'm a different breed than these people are. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how that works too with like the union and contracts. Who knows? But if I could get a Batman movie every 3 years, I'd be happy. Yeah. I'd say fuck the union. Like, what's the union gonna do? Come to my house and tell me I can't write? I'd be like, oh, it's just fan fiction. I'm continuing. Yeah, whatever. Right. But I'm just happy it's done, and we're hopefully gonna have lots of fun with all the clips that are gonna come out in pictures and everything, and then we'll find out who the villain is. And so I just want the script to get leaked so I can read it already. That'd be great. Just spoil it all for myself. I'm waiting because as of this recording, I haven't seen because part of the script front page is blurred out. So I feel like it's going to be the Batman Part 2 : something. The Batman Part 2 : it's getting hot in here. I don't know. I don't know. Clay for pay or something. I don't know. Yeah. Something referencing Clayman. So that something there is going to happen in the next like. What if it's like the Killing Joke? I'm out. Riddle me this. So Gotham is flooded. The Batman is on his knees right now. Well, this is so. I don't think the Joker's the time to. I don't think it's the time to bring in the Joker. Plus, the Joker is technically in prison in this timeline. True. What if it's like Batman Part 2 Court of Owls? Oh. That's a good one. Yeah, that would hit. Or like Batman Part 2 Night of the Owl. Oh man. Because that would be a great time for the Court of Owls to make themselves known. Yeah. Because like Penguin's rising to power at the end of Penguin, right? This politician, he's like he acts like he's I was born here, blah blah blah. Then the Court of Owls comes in and is like, no, bitch, like we actually run the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd be down for that. And then we get I think it's gonna be something like Mr. Freeze. Or what Batman Part 2 Heart of Ice.
Ooh, if they did Heart of
Dude,
Ice,
there's so
maybe.
yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, now that
there's a lot of great stories.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of great stories, but like Batman Part 2, what is it, Widening Gyre or something?
If it's not Court of Owls now, Mike, I just won't go see it. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm sorry to get everybody's hopes up.
That would be amazing though.
Yeah. I almost forgot though, like, you know, the Batman movie came out. We did get the Penguin show. We got like 8 hours of Penguin in between Batman movies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. But not the same, you know.
Yeah, it's just it's not the Batman.
Yeah, it still was good, but it's not the Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no sparkly vampire Batman in this that show.
Yeah, so. I need somebody with a cowl. I need somebody with a cape. I don't need the cop from the movie that's like, you know, Batman is coming. Yeah. Remember that guy? It was like, oh, it's the guy from the movie. It's like, no, give me Batman. All right, comic news.
Can I float something by you before we go into comic news?
Oh, sure.
Dude, this theory dropped to me. So next year,
yep,
we're getting a bunch of these Marvel DC crossovers, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm assuming we'll get just a bunch of like this one. It's got to all culminate in something, right? Like we feel like we're getting a Avengers versus Justice League kind of thing going on.
Yeah, like comic. Yeah.
What if next September, 4-issue miniseries written by Scott Snyder, Jonathan Hickman, Absolute Universe versus Ultimate Universe?
That would be so cool. I'd line up at the comic shop for that. That would be really awesome. I wish. Write a letter. Dude, DC still accept letters?
Dude.
Write a letter to DC saying Absolute Universe versus Ultimates, and then write a letter to Marvel saying Ultimates versus Absolute.
Yeah. 4-issue series. They each publish 2 issues. Hickman writes the Marvel one. Snyder writes the DC one.
I'm gonna ask we always record the interviews usually before, but we should ask Colin Kelly and Jackson Lindsay what they think about that. Guys, we have an idea. I just want, because they'll tell us what they think, right? So yeah, maybe we'll have to run that by them. But I would be so pumped for that. That would be dope.
That's been running through my head for like 3 days now, and I'm like, oh,
because then it's like universes that, you know, they're kind of like, oh, you can write it off, you know.
Well, and then you could basically do Justice League versus Avengers again, but it would be a different twist because now they both have their own independent universes where they have these unique versions of the character. Yeah,
these crazy versions. That'd be dope. Yeah. My only caveat would be like, I don't know if we have enough Absolute stuff yet to do that, but maybe by then.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Ultimate Universe is still technically pretty new too, so
that's true. Oh yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
All right, folks, we're gonna jump into the news this week. Image Comics Skybound Entertainment announced that starting with issue 25 of Transformers, writer Robert Kirkman, artist Dan Mora. I keep forgetting that that this is ongoing there, but they're going to be the new creative team for the series, which is insane. So we have Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora. Dan Mora, the guy who we say, how can this fucking guy draw another book, Chris? How does he do it? He must have cloned himself, right?
He did. There's no question.
Are we going to be reading Transformers? Is that the? If you're not sold yet, let me read you the plot, everybody. Energon universe will never be. So I mean, everybody knows Autobots versus Decepticons begin the most surprising new chapter. Oh, there's a war on Earth. Optimus Prime and the remaining Autobots must join forces with unlikely allies in order to protect their adopted planet. But Prime's next challenge lies closer to home than he ever imagined. What is the fate of the Decepticons? I mean, Robert Kirkman writing a Transformers book, and they have some preview pages on their website, and some of these covers are dope.
I'm somebody like Kirkman's up there is one of those writers that I pick up everything he does.
Yeah.
And Dan Mora has gotten to a point where he's one of those artists where I pick up anything he does.
Yeah, these pages, man, are like, I'm looking at these Dan Mora pages that they have. Holy crap.
They're amazing, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start reading Transformers, Mike.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not happy about it.
Me too. I am just I'm just trying to look at all these. Wow, I think they know it's going to be popular just from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 covers, everybody. Just saying that. And there's some foil covers. Oh shit, there's foil covers.
Some blank sketch covers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you count those.
There's a 1/100 incentive cover, and I looked at this cover and I knew who drew it immediately, because for some fucking reason the Transformers' arms and legs don't have 90-degree angles when he's made out of sheet metal, Chris. He's made out of sheet metal, right? It's Guy Lee, folks. I
literally clicked on one image real quick just to get to the
I got so mad
gallery, and that's what popped up was the Jai Lee cover.
And why is his chest all smashed? His windows are cracked.
He's in battle, man. He's battling.
Dude, his arms are like liquid. He just looks like he's made out of liquid. Where's his other leg? Whatever.
It's in the air behind him. He's running real fast.
I am just over it. How can you have a cover with like this like epic Nick Spencer cover, or not Nick Spencer? I'm sorry, Dan Mora cover, and then follow up with that. Whatever. It's a 1 in 100 incentive. Dope. Yeah. That with the fucking jets.
Yeah, the DNA trucks. Cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're all great. I'm reading this. We're both reading Transformers.
I'll probably do digital just so I don't have to figure out what to do with Transformers comics when it's all done.
Yeah. Another thing about, like, not that we had enough comics to read this year, but holy shit, like, we're reading so many comics. This is the year I have to read a Transformers comic. Like, I do you think they unlocked the code of, like, all the publishers are realizing now, wow, we could literally get people to read any property we want if we put these great writers and great artists behind them? Who would have thought, Chris?
Yep.
Like, oh, Gotcha Man? Yeah, these suckers will read it. Oh, Speed Racer? Yeah, these idiots are going to read it.
Yeah, it's amazing when you make good books.
Yeah.
I was just talking to, it's funny because I was just talking to the owner of the comic shop the other day, and he was like, he's naming off books. And he's like, how are you not reading this? And I literally like pulled the bag that I just bought of books. I'm like, this is what I just bought this week. I don't have time or money.
Yeah.
There's too many good books.
It's a lot easier when you own the comic shop.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because we were talking about JSA, and I was mentioning that you were really enjoying it. And I was like, I love the JSA, but I don't have time or money.
Yeah.
I can't add another book.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's crazy, dude.
Especially when Kirkman keeps announcing more books. And and I just had to pick up like a brand new #1 this week and then 2 more next week. And it's too many good books.
Too many good books. It's a good problem to have, but also, damn.
Yeah.
This other book from Image coming out sounds really good. It's titled Viking Moon, from writer Joe Pruitt, artist Marcelo Frusin. Vikings versus werewolves. The real reason the Vikings fled North America. That's all I need to hear, honestly. This barbaric adventure begins in 1003 when Leif Erikson, a Hingadingadorgan, established a Viking settlement in Vineyland, present-day Newfoundland. I don't know. A strange new world of plenty, but this untamed frontier is populated by more than just indigenous people, of course. This is something unnatural that stalks the night. 20 years after the original expedition ended in a disaster, a new attempt to settle the wilderness is made. Ulf and his hardened tribe of Vikings soon discover that the whisper of creatures who are both human and beast are not primitive legend, but death-bringing reality. Dude, I think I have to read this. The cover alone is like a werewolf and a Viking. The interior art. So this is the guy, this artist, Marcelo Frusin. He's been around a while. He did some the newer Kick-Ass stuff. He's in Hellblazer. But these interiors of just Vikings and some werewolves. I mean, I think I got to read it, Chris. I don't know. What do you think about it? This? Looks awesome.
It looks dope.
It looks really good.
I refer to my previous statement of I'm not going to read it just because I don't have time or money.
I think I'm going to have to pick this one up.
But it sounds cool, and I want to applaud Joe and Marcelo for not just naming the book Vikings versus Werewolves.
That's
I was looking back at some old comics, and it's like blank versus zombies or blank versus vampire, and I'm like, okay.
You got to make the story more than just those two, entities fighting each other.
Yeah, but it does sound dope. And maybe one day I'll go back and read the trade when it's all done and collected.
That's true. Maybe I could just trade weight it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I've been trade weighting more. I just got the G.I. Joe that Joshua Williamson's doing.
Oh, nice.
I just got that trade the other day, and I got to read it still. But I have been making the decision to trade weight more.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just, I mean, some of these weeks we hear books and we're like, nah, I'm not that interested. But, this week is, oh, here's another one for you, Chris. Dark Horse announced a new Star Wars original graphic novel. Not just, they heard you were trade weighting. They go, oh, Chris is trade weighting now? Buckle up, buckaroo. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories Grievous from writer Michael Morecci, artist Caio Felipe. Count Dooku as a General Grievous to conquer the jungle planet of Katu. It's an opportunity to prove Grievous's worth. For his Sith masters, the herders of Katu are no match for the mechanized monster. Still, when Jedi Knight Cardiff Bay and his clone troopers arrive, Grievous takes the forest for a stealthy approach. Can General Brute's strength defeat the heroes of the Republic, or will his beastly nature be his downfall? Yeah, are you a General Grievous fan? I know you're a Star Wars fan.
I am, actually. I think Grievous was done dirty in those old movies.
Yeah.
He's such a cool design and idea that if they just took away the wheezing and his the way he bitched out at the end, I think he could have been an all-time Star Wars villain.
Yeah. How about this though? Michael Morecci writing it of Barbaric.
Yes, and that's the other thing I was going to say. Michael Morecci of Barbaric, and Michael Morecci, a guy I've been following even before Barbaric. We discovered Barbaric because I was a Morecci fan from when he was doing old sci-fi comics at. I don't even remember what publisher he was doing them at. I'll probably pick this. I don't do a lot of the Hyperspace Stories ones. Those are the all ages titles.
Yeah,
I did the Bad Batch one. I've done some select ones, but this one. I'm always down to get some cool Grievous stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm here for Rambo Grievous, is what this sounds like.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Predator Grievous. He's hiding in the woods and.
And I kind of wish somebody would take on the task. Maybe it's been done. I just don't know about it, 'cause there's a lot of Star Wars stuff out there of telling Grievous's how he got to the point where we see him in episode 2.
Yeah, where he's a robot with a heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and has all these lightsabers.
Yeah,
because he stated that he gets the lightsabers from Jedi after he kills them.
Yeah, but
then he wanted Obi-Wan's lightsaber to add to his collection.
Yeah,
so there's got to be a cool backstory there, and you can make the wheezing a thing, I guess, too. I don't know, but I would like to see more Grievous. I think he's a cool, like I said, character design, cool idea. I think you can make him really interesting.
Dynamite Entertainment announced a new series coming from collaboration with Hanna-Barbera, titled Blue Falcon and Dynamite, from writer Jimmy Palmiotti, and artist Pascal Cuomo. Oh, this is crazy. Secure their life of luxury in a penthouse high above the streets of Big City. Wealthy investor and art collector Radley Crown and his faithful canine companion have enjoyed a charmed existence. That all changes one fateful day when a vicious gang shatters their complacency. From this tragedy will rise two of the most impressive and vigilant superheroes. In the aftermath, the Crown puts to work his inimitable technical difficulty abilities to reveal himself and his four-legged friend into unrivaled instruments of retribution. The Blue Falcon and Dynamite Dog Wonder. Damn. I feel like this is one of the properties they've held out on with these Hanna-Barbera crossovers, but Blue Falcon and Dynamite with Palmiotti and this art by Pascal, who did DC versus Vampires.
Yeah,
dude, what is happening to our wallets, guys? I know we might get this one for review copies, but this sounds awesome, Chris. I'll probably end up reading it. Blue Falcon and Dynamite, I think, are great. I don't know.
I'm with you. It does, and that art goes way too hard.
That goes way too hard for a Blue Falcon. There's blood everywhere. There's a mace. This isn't Blue Falcon and Dino. What is happening? I'm super pumped for this.
I think it sounds dope. I'm gonna keep referring back to my previous statement. I'm also waiting for the Thundar the Barbarian comic that they've said they're doing, but have not announced when or who's doing it.
Yeah. Man,
so I'm so in a different world. As a matter of fact, a world not that long ago when DC was doing Hanna-Barbera comics, I bought all the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah, true.
Well, I'm not in that world right now. There's too many
many comics, dude. What are they doing?
Jimmy Palmiotti.
Yeah, I might have to read this one. That's all right. I'll read it for us. Don't worry.
Yeah, it sounds really dope.
Yeah. Dynamite Entertainment announced that after some financial struggles with the newly minted Diamond distribution, they'll be teaming up with Lunar Distribution to release their titles to comic shops. Surprise, surprise there, Chris. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We haven't gone too much into the
No, we haven't had to talk about it a lot.
Because Diamond it's been going through all these different things. Here's where we're at, everybody. A new company now owns Diamond, and apparently they're not paying people. And it's a fantastic way to start your business because everybody's jumping ship. We haven't gotten Dynamite books in a minute. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I definitely have noticed that Space Ghost Annual #1 hasn't come out when it was supposed to 2 months ago.
Right.
It's now coming out middle of next month. Quote unquote officially, I saw Popose, they say he has a firm date. And in this announcement, there was a firm date for this, among other books, including like Red Sonja versus Army of Darkness, a few others. So, yeah, I don't think I forget who the new owners of Dynamite is. I don't think it's not looking good for them right off the bat.
No, for sure.
And I know you're not a physical person anymore, Mike, but no more previews catalog.
Oh, that's crazy.
Previews, so they're doing it digitally. They're not printing them anymore. So I literally got back from the comic shop last week, and all I have are the DC Connect catalog, and then Marvel has been moved their printing over to their own quote unquote preview style catalog.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I feel bad for these small, I feel bad for even Image and stuff. Like they were going through previews to get their stuff out there for people to notice that aren't listening to shows like this.
Right.
And even when I look through it, I'm like, when did this get announced?
Yeah, right. That's crazy. The previous catalog is like a staple.
So it's gonna be crazy. I think in the email I got from our shop, he had the link to the new previews catalog. I haven't had time to look through it.
It is free online, or
it's free digitally, as far as I know. I can actually look it up right now.
I mean, that was the one thing. It was like the previous catalog was supposed to be like what, $5 or $6, and
we always got it for free.
We always got it for free because then we would just order more comics through them. So,
but he said he told me that he looked through it and it was a pretty good digital catalog. Like I said, it was easy to go through. You could see everything, all that.
That's good.
The link he sent is no longer available, so that's hilarious.
Oh wow, wonderful! So
I guess next week I'll report in about the new previous catalog. But
off to a great start, it seems.
Yes.
And then the last piece of news we have here, IDW Publishing announced that the newest version of the TMNT featured in the animated movie TMNT Mutant Mayhem and Paramount Plus cartoon series Tales of the TMNT will be getting a comic series titled after the Paramount Plus series. The series will be written by Mikey Levitt with art by Andrew Joustra. I think that's cool. I think these characters are a lot of fun. The art style is very similar to the movie. I think this will be pretty popular. It comes out in October, but that's a cool way to bring these characters into comics rather than comics to the big screen kind of thing.
Yeah, and if this is the only Turtles we were getting, I would have like a negative opinion on it, but because I didn't care for that movie personally.
Yeah.
But it's one of like 80 Turtles comics, so people enjoy it. There's more of it for you. Enjoy it. I think Mikey Levitt is working on the animated series in some way too. Okay. So it's bringing someone that's working in that universe and having them do more with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, I mean, it says Turtles on the cover, so there's gonna be you have a firm fan base right off the bat that's gonna buy it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So with that, let's talk about comics we read this week, Chris. Oh yeah.
There's a couple in here you better have read because I'm spoiling the shit out of them.
Oh hell yeah. I'm just trying to get to my notes here. Let me. You want to start us off, and I'll try to open my notes again.
All right, I'll start with some I know you didn't read.
Okay.
Some of these are from last week. You know, I'm constantly behind. Ultimates number 13, which is a terrible cover because it just says Ultimates 3.0 in the cover.
Hilarious.
But it's basically Iron Lad, Tony Stark.
Okay.
Giving this is what's going on with the Ultimate speech. And basically all the prisons on the Ultimate Universe have been filled with people who were supposed to be heroes of some sort and are basically political prisons. And with Luke Cage gaining his powers and Iron Fist gaining his powers, they've been able to take over the prison system and turn them into like little mini hero training facilities.
Okay.
So they're basically creating this giant army to fight against the Maker down the line.
Yep.
And so the whole story is him, Iron Lad, going from place to place and showing what people are doing inside these facilities and how they're working together and everything. And then there's a big reveal at the end that he's somehow possibly cloned himself because there's like 4 or 5 of them. Because everybody's saying like you should take some rest. You're constantly going, and he's like, oh, it's fine. It's because there's multiples of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Star Wars number 2.
Sick.
So on the last issue, there was like that person who they're fighting in space, and then they crashed on a planet, and they fought him there, and he whispered something in Luke's ear that like set him back. I think it was kind of a lame turnaround when we got it because it's basically, hey, this person has a Jedi artifact, and Luke's like, oh my god, and he runs off. Yeah, like of course, people are gonna have fucking Jedi artifacts. Luke, calm down. Yeah,
yeah. Chill.
It's just Luke going and trying to find this artifact now. That's what the story is now, which I'm fine with. I just thought like the intro to it a little lame,
a little lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah. West
Coast Avengers number 8.
Oh, I read that. No, I didn't. I love you do.
Yeah. It's so nerdy fucking Marvel that I know you don't read it.
Yeah. West Coast Avengers. Come on. Just stick with one.
So coast. Now we have a third Ultron on Earth now, and this is the Dark Ultron, Mike. And he's got a chain, so he's edgy.
Oh hell yeah. So he's edgy. He's got a chain wallet. Is it is it Jenko jeans?
He's mad at the one evil Ultron who's trying to make a cult of Ultron and takes him down. So, and we have the Avengers basically fighting against him, and that's the main story there. The B story is the Avengers Ultron is up in space meditating or something.
Okay.
After being basically backstabbed by Tony. And in this realizes he has to like put aside his difference to fight this Dark Ultron. And then the C story is Blue Thunder, who's in jail, is being blackmailed by another supervillain to come after Tony and his crew. So a lot going on, but at the end of the day, like if you like Ultron stuff, there's plenty of Ultron in this book, and that's the only reason I'm reading it because I love me some Ultron.
Nice.
Aliens versus Avengers number 4.
Sick.
Finally here.
Wow, that dude, it's been months, right?
Yeah, so I think they changed the ending.
I read the first one. I feel like it was at the start of the year.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been 2 to 3 months in between issues.
Oh my god.
And so basically, Mr. Sinister took the genes from the aliens and created Mr. Sinister alien, and that's the big bad we're fighting here. And then the way to defeat that is that Miles has that symbiote that fused with the alien.
Okay.
And is now part of Miles. And Miles gives birth to basically a Venom alien.
Oh god.
That is now part of the team and kills the Mr. Sinister alien.
What the hell?
And they go off into space. Tony Stark dies. The rest of the team's there. And then they meet up with Black Panther and whoever's left of Wakanda. And basically they're like, well, while we won this battle, the war's not over kind of ending. God. And I'm like, you changed the ending so you could do more.
Yeah.
You saw how popular this was. You wanted to do more.
That's so funny.
It's good, but it's blatantly obvious what happened.
Yeah.
Bug Wars number 5, Mike.
Oh shit.
You should be reading this.
Yep.
So essentially all the different bug factions have come together and they're going to take over the yard and kill our main character's big brother, who's the guy that mows the lawn. That's why they hate him so much. And the big reveal here is that the kid's father, who was thought to be dead, is still living amongst the bugs in the yard.
Okay.
And comes to help him and shows him that he's actually the one that's supposed to save the world from the bugs, because the amulet he's using to get his powers and become small, the bugs are actually trying to get it. And if they do that, they can unify all the bugs across the world to take over humanity.
Oh, sick.
So he becomes like this big fucking hulking, in the bug world, that is, thing that's going to fight against and like bring peace to the world through this thing. It sounds lame, but it's a really fun book, and it's really cool to watch, like when the bugs are coming together and having their little talk about war.
Yeah.
You get like the Hornet faction, and because Bahadasar is doing the art, he makes them cool. So it's like a Hornet, but it's a person with like Hornet like armor.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they're meeting amongst the maggots, and the maggots are basically just they're basically wizards that control the dead, necromancers.
Okay.
So they do cool things with it. It's not as lame as it sounds. Real quick, Undiscovered Country 31. This book's back after like a year of being off.
Nice.
And they said in the back of it, it's over after this volume. They've come to their conclusion. Snyder and Soul, I'm sure, are busy doing other things, but they wanted to finish this book. And I really liked it. It's a bad time to jump on board, but I think it's a cool, fun book.
Nice.
Superior Avengers number 3. The Superior Avengers fight the Avengers, Mike.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's all that happens in this book.
Damn.
It's fun, but it's like, what am I going to say? Like Tony Stark fought alternate universe Black Panther. Ultimate Spider-Man number 18. Spider-Man is no longer in hiding. He's with the Green Goblin, and we get to see him fight a bunch of different villains, and they're going to go after Kingpin. But they have to meet with Mysterio first, which is Gwen Stacy. So the issue is them going through fighting villains, reconnecting after Green Goblin's thought to be dead, and Green Goblin's a good guy in this universe, Mike.
Of course.
And then we find out that Peter's kid, who is using a black suit Spider-Man, we assume to be Venom, but we don't know quite yet, snuck on board and is with them, but they're not sure of it yet. He goes to see his girlfriend, who is a Black Cat, and gets kind of sucked into a whole thing with the Kingpin, and that's kind of the big wow moment at the end. Sonic the Hedgehog cross DC.
Oh, hell yeah.
So last issue, Mike, if you remember, it was all the Sonic characters in the DC character suits fighting DC villains.
Yeah.
This is the reverse.
Oh my god.
So it's Superman fighting Dr. Eggman.
Oh,
and,
that's awesome.
All these different Sonic the Hedgehog.
How does Superman not just like crush Dr. Eggman?
That's basically what happens.
Oh, okay.
And Eggman's like, well, please don't destroy my base. You can just go downstairs using the elevator. And Superman just like breaks through it and grabs the Chaos Emerald. And this is the whole story of how the Chaos Emeralds got over the DC universe.
Okay.
So it literally ends where the last issue ends, with the Sonic characters coming back to the Sonic universe, and now they got to work together to solve. It's fun.
There's been so many Sonic crossovers amongst like everything. Like Sonic Racing has had so many different. They've crossed over with SpongeBob, I think, and like all these other.
Well, that's all coming up. Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I finally got my issue of Megaman Timelines number 1.
Oh shit.
So this is a series of one-shots set in the different timelines of Mega Man. So the next issue is Mega Man X.
Okay.
And it's really just a fun story. I wouldn't say fun. It's a serious story about Mega Man going to battle against Pyro Man and Blast Man. And Blast Man's gone insane. He's using different robots to like make living bombs.
Yeah.
And they have to take him out. And Pyro Man is basically just sitting back, and near the end, he goes, we're supposed to be better than humans. We're not supposed to use our own as living bombs.
Yeah.
And fights against them. So it's basically a story about war and terrible things that happen. I thought it was really good. It says in the end to be continued, so I'm curious because I thought this was a series of one shots. They're got to be connected in some way if it's a to be continued.
Right.
So we'll see down the line. But for Megaman fans, it's a lot of fun. After some back and forth on Twitter, Mike, I finally got my copy of The Faraway #2 by our good friend Colin Pun. Kickstarter book I did, and still really great. This one was more setting the stage for what the world is, and ending with a moment where they finally look like fantasy characters. They've got armor and weapons now, and oh no, a big hulking dragon creature appears, and now they have to figure out what to do there. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
All right, these are the ones I'm hoping you read.
Yeah, I mean, I got my notes up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go through these 4, and you tell me if you read them or not. Yeah. Hyde Street #7.
Hell yeah, I read that.
Nice.
That was really good. Yeah, the whole fight with Pranky fighting the monster, and then the like switch of like him realizing, oh, like, you know, we shouldn't be fighting each other kind of thing. Like this, the person that they find in the world is like abusing children. He's like, oh, I hate that really badly, and ends up like killing that guy with the crazy part was he brings all of the like cereal mascots alive to real monsters, which is like, oh, Chris is probably loving this shit right now. That was really dope to see. But then he grabs the Wolfman mask from the scorekeeper's office, and now he can't take it off. Like he's turned into a beast. And then you see the scorekeeper say like he's got to come back. So maybe next issue we're finally going to get the reveal of like who that is, like who the big bad is behind everything.
Yeah, possibly. I like that Pranky steals a mask from Mr. X-Ray.
Yeah.
Now he's permanently a werewolf.
Yeah. Was it from Mr. X-Ray or was it the main guy?
I thought it was Mr. X-Ray.
Oh, okay. If it's from Mr. X-Ray, then he's got to go. Okay. Then maybe it wasn't the big bad. Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I thought that's how I took it.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe you're right.
And other than that, I thought it was an okay issue. Yeah. It was, hey, here's this fight, and then they quickly like resolve
it. Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if it's in the digital version because I know you read it digitally.
Yeah.
But in the back, they have like, here's fun stuff you can get from Ghost Machine. Oh, and they made T-shirts for all the different fake cereal companies.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So you can buy T-shirts of all those fake cereal boxes.
You got it? Was it on their website or whatever?
I think so, yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna look at those.
They're fantastic.
That's so awesome. What else did you read?
Okay, how about Absolute Wonder Woman #9?
Yes, read that. Where's my notes for it? Oh yeah. Yeah, Diana learning that there's from Dr. Poison that there's a maze where there might be an Amazon, and she goes down there and there's a Minotaur, because that's like the myth, right? The Minotaur in the maze. Which is cool because like the Minotaur is just trying to protect a child there. The Minotaur is like, yeah, there's this person that might be a there's a big fight scene with Minotaur, but then they're like, yeah, there might be an Amazon down here. And then we meet Queen Clea, and I believe that's Queen Cleopatra, right? At least that was what they're saying. And she goes, no, I'm not an Amazon. So interesting that we have another. Well, this is more of an Egyptian figure, right? Yeah. But yeah, kind of cool to find out that she's not a Amazon, and that something's going to happen there. I'm sure there's going to be a twist of like where the Amazon is or something.
And the idea that we could get into different gods
and
mythologies,
sick. Yeah, like that was a pretty dope moment of like, yeah, you have the Minotaur and then you have Clea. So what other gods and deities are in this maze too? Yeah.
I'm also, because it's me.
Yeah.
They're fighting fish people.
Yes.
What does this mean for Aquaman?
Yeah, true. I forgot they're fighting like they were fighting like mer people. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Well, that was a great issue. Yeah, and I love having a Minotaur and and the maze. Like
yeah, that's awesome. I love that. What else?
How about Superman #27?
So I did not get to that issue this week.
Okay.
Tell me. Yeah.
Superman gets healed of. So basically, he gets healed of his Red K issue.
Okay.
He fights Graft and the brother.
All the guys, yeah.
And basically the resolve of this is that Mercy now owns LexCorp, a super core.
Okay.
Turns it back into LexCorp.
Okay.
And Lex Luthor has disappeared to a point where Superman can't even detect him on Earth.
Oh.
And they make a point of Superman being like, I can hear anybody on Earth. I can hear their heartbeat, all this stuff. I can't hear Lex's.
Uh-oh.
And all we see is him go into a snowy place inside a bunker of some sorts. So something's happening with Lex.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like this is a new status quo thing. Yeah. And then it ends with a epilogue that shows the future with those 3 Omega people.
Yep.
And the Time Sweeper, Doomsday. And they still have Booster Gold. So they're trying to figure out. They're basically saying like Booster Gold's the key to everything, which I think is hilarious. They're making Booster Gold the super important character.
It's so funny. Yeah, I can never see him.
And Doomsday basically comes out and goes, "You know me as this, but I'm actually Doomsday." Jumps into a time portal and says, "I'll take you out another way." So I think the next issue, the next story arc, we're gonna go back to the whole Doomsday thing, which I was really enjoying. So I'm glad to go back to it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And the 3 Omega people all state, "Well, I think it's time that Superman learns who we are." So we're getting a big story arc for the next issue. This was kind of a reset the table and do a new thing kind of issue. But I really enjoyed it. My last one, Mike.
Yep.
And probably the most important one. The new history of the DC Universe, #1.
Yeah, that was a great issue. Yep. I mean, we really get the whole DC Universe starting with they're rewriting the history with like the Dark Universe. I mean, they definitely steer us the way they want it to go with all the new story arcs that have come out. Stuff that is in continuity that never was before. And then it kind of leaves up to we get the JSA stuff, which was awesome. We get like the Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters stuff. We even get we get the whole universe developing, and then the Guardians, and then the rings, and we go through all that, which like the cosmic stuff gets kind of a little wonky. The important part is the Hawkeye Hawk Girl thing. They kind of just left as like, they were ancient Egyptian. Now we get them reincarnated all the time. So they've like made that the definitive continuity. And then we end with Superman arriving on Earth, which was really exciting. This was a great issue. It wasn't too heavy. It kind of touched on things. We got to see some characters that we know and love. And I thought it was a really smart thing to do for them. But
yeah, so Mark Waid did the same thing at Marvel a few years back. And I think it was even called something around like the Marvel universe history or something like that.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a lot of that. It's very much like panel by panel. This happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. But it's when you're interested in it, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
If you're not like a hardcore superhero fan, especially a DC fan, I think this will not land for you.
Yeah.
But I loved it, man.
Well, it's cool. They talked about King Arthur and stuff. That was cool that they got a section.
And and I'm looking at some of the stuff. I'm like, I never knew this was part of DC.
And me either.
I want books about it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday.
Yeah. There was like some Viking guys. I was like, oh hell yeah.
There was heroes prior to the JSA.
Yeah.
At one point, and I'm like, well, it's more of this. Can we do this again?
Yeah, right.
There was a lot of cool stuff in here. A lot of it I knew.
Nothing about Watchmen though. Well, yeah.
Well, because I think Watchmen's a parallel universe.
So maybe next issue we'll get some more stuff about that.
I don't know.
Because them talking about Dream and everything was pretty cool. Talking about like Dream and Death and all those.
I was say Sandman being continuity. Sandman. I was never quite sure if that was continuity or not. I know he pops up here and there.
Yeah, but now like definitively, it's pretty cool.
I'd be shocked if we got any Watchmen stuff.
And then they said like Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, like they gave they cited his origin as being asleep during Sandman, which we know that's like Wesley Dodds' dreams of being Sandman, right? Or like so like that being his new origin or something is kind of interesting. But yeah, really really interesting. I really like that. Really, I read through the whole thing. I was like, damn, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for more.
Yeah.
I actually have one more real quick, and then you can do all yours. I read a manga called The Last Elf. It's a newer one.
Oh, I think I've heard about that one.
So it's set in a world where there was a war between elves and humans. They have clan names and everything. We're just gonna go simple here, Mike. And the humans win, wipe out all the elves, and then the Industrial Revolution happens. But this one female elf is still alive, and she's out there, and her whole thing is to go about and give the different like great spirits their rest and let them move on to the next life. So she goes to one, and it's this giant serpent thing, and she lets it go off, and then she goes and after that decides I'm gonna go to this guild and help them out because all of their missions tend to be about spirits, and her whole thing is like helping spirits move on to the next life. And she figures she does that, she'll find more of these great spirits. So that's basically the plot. And then in the final pages, we get the villain, which is somebody who has a similar ability as a human, but instead of helping them, they destroy these spirits. And they're told, like, hey, somebody took care of this spirit over here, and they weren't supposed to. You need to figure out who that is and take care of them. So we now have our good guy, bad guy dilemma for the last page. It's good. The art's cool. It does some anime tropey stuff. Like when she freaks out, she turns into chibi version, like goes nuts.
Okay. Yeah.
But for the most part, the art's really good and like sophisticated.
Yeah.
And I think it has promise to be a cool series. So I'll definitely check out volume 2 and see where it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some stuff I caught up on. So I read the first issue from 2022 of Star Trek #1 by Lanzig and Kelly. I thought it was a really good first issue. I love seeing the characters from Next Generation, some others that I recognize from other Star Trek series. I think it's an interesting story about these gods that send a captain who's like been away for a while to go look at this certain point in space, and then all the gods just die. So he witnesses all the gods die, and then they're like, what just happened? Crazy. So I really like what they did with the first issue. I'm hooked. I got to read more. Justice League Unlimited #8. So they beat Grodd with his Omega Energy. They say that Omega Energy is loose and wasn't put back in the way it was. Then we see Time Trapper from Superman hanging out with the World Forger, who was the guy from the Dark Multiverse story back in the day. Well, back in the day, but it was like Dark Knight's Metal. He says there's a crisis coming, and then we see this thing that like we're getting Justice League across space and time. So I think what you're saying is a bigger thing is coming, and it's probably going to go across Superman and Justice League, from what it seems like. So caught up on Absolute Martian Manhunter. So in issue 3, we found out that it was like the white Martians were possessing people to like kill others. Now we know so we know the white Martians are present. They know that the Martian Manhunter is hiding inside a human. So through all of this, like the Martian Manhunter guy's wife has been really upset with him about not being around, and because he's like always investigating stuff. And the city's been like going through a heat wave. Well, they possess all these people, and they blow up all the local energy municipalities. So like the whole city is like shrouded in darkness, which means like the white Martians are probably going to be coming soon to attack. So it's a pretty interesting story. It's more of like a noir, and where it's like the white Martians, you can't really see them. They're like possessing people to like kill each other in town and like set people's houses on fire and stuff. JSA 8. We find out the villains were trying to open a portal that is a window every 80 years to the unmade ones, which is insane. So that was the big reveal, Chris, is that the Injustice Society, they were thwarted 80 years ago, and they're trying to collect the items like the Spear of Destiny and the Helmet of Fate, because every 80 years they get a chance to open a portal. Well, we see the portal open. It's the unnamed ones like Eldritch Horrors, and they're coming to Earth now. Like all of the monsters from what's his name? Not Edgar Allan Poe.
Lovecraft?
Lovecraftian horrors. Yeah, that was pretty awesome to see that. So that was really dope. Because they're like, where does the portal lead to? And they open up, and there's all these like, Cthulhu-esque eldritch monsters. I was like, oh, this is sick. So it took a really sick twist. Yeah. It was like, damn, this is awesome. Absolute Superman 8. I got caught up on that. Got to see how evil Ra's al Ghul is, and his like Lazarus pit turns people back into babies, or like maybe their younger selves. Superman gets shot with kryptonite bullets. He ends up getting helped by the Omega Men team that's like been fighting as like a resistance. Absolute Flash, I thought it was a great issue. We find so we get a reveal that it wasn't only Wally in the lab that escaped, but there was other people like Heatwave. There was a wizard, Firestorm. So we find out through the army that Grodd, the little Grodd that's hanging out with Flash, is going to lead them all to the metahumans that escaped, and he's kind of like that's his power, is to find them all. But it is cool to see like Firestorm was one of the tanks, so a huge Firestorm fan. Batman Superman 40. This is a great issue about kaiju attacking, and Batman has a robot he built just to fight it, so that was pretty cool. And next issue is Bizarro World, so I'm excited for that.
I catch up on that book.
New Gods.
I catch up on the Justice League stuff too.
Yeah. New Gods number 7. So the fighting stops when the ship from New Genesis that was escaping crashes, and the Justice League helps everybody. The U.S. Army wants jurisdiction over it, so Green Lantern comes in and says, I'm just going to build them a city. So he builds them like a Green Lantern city, like out of constructs. Meanwhile, Maxwell Lord and the others that wanted that kid that is the new god, it looks like they're sending Jonah Hex in to like break him out of this city that he's in right now. So that was pretty cool to see. It looked like Jonah Hex. I don't know any other cowboy guys in DC, although there are quite a few from what we learned from the.
I was say yeah.
From
you read
history.
About quite a bit.
Yeah. Godzilla versus Avengers caught up on. Yeah, that was an interesting. It was like a recap of a fight with Godzilla. That was all right, but it was cool to see Jet Jaguar showing up. Huge Jet Jaguar fan. Battle Beast number 2, great issue with that Coliseum fight. Now these Planet Enforcers show up and want to take the Battle Beast in, so I'm sure that'll go great for them. Absolute Batman number 9. I thought that was a great issue. The Bane stuff was awesome. Seeing Batman work with his team, like you said, but the Bane pretty much like inflating into this crazy, like muscly, like it was almost like dysmorphia, like this body dysmorphia thing. That was pretty awesome. It's more like a horror-esque style, and I think that's really cool. Geiger 15, great issue, wraps up. The crew gets back together. They have Joe with them, Junkyard Joe, and the general's still looking for them. That's kind of where we wrap up, really. And it looks like that Geiger's kind of like healed now after absorbing the radiation. Action Comics 1087. We get a story about young Superman when he fights his first villain. We got a glimpse of the JSA because they're at some like museum. Some mysterious guy like flies out and goes to find Superman. So there's somebody on Earth with powers when Superman was just getting started. Aquaman number 6, what you said, great issue. The Wonder Twin reveal was awesome. Him being sad and depressed looking was not so awesome. So I'm wondering like how he ended up in that situation. So hopefully we get that next issue. Huck, Big Bad World number 2. So they find they're looking for other people with powers. They find the first guy they're looking for, who he's like an assassin for his uncle in the mob, because his uncle has his daughter like under threat. So that's why he does all these dirty deeds for him. So Huck has the ability to find anybody on Earth. So he helps him find his daughter, and then he kind of joins their ragtag squad looking for other superhumans. So it's a pretty good story so far, if you like Huck. That's all I had this week.
That's it?
That's it. That's it for you and me, I guess. I don't know. It was a combined total of like 40 comics, I think. So we can't do anymore. I can't. Oh, man.
All right, Mike. Well, that's everything you read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter/X. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on most social media networks, or at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. You can find the show at Fortress Pod on most social media networks, or at fortresscomicnews.com. If you want to support the show, 5-star reviews, do all the things on YouTube, including touch the buttons, comment below, all that fun stuff. And then you can go over to patreon.com/fortresscomics for more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening this week. We'll see y'all here next week.